What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brent, and today I have with me a very new and innovative piece of equipment made to help your lights. Falcam has reached out to me and asked if I would like to review the Falcam MOVE LightGO. Looking at this, it is a gimbal for your light, so why would I not? I'm very much into new and innovative technology, things that can push the industry forward, and we don't often get that with lighting tech. We get a lot of tech for cameras, but we don't get a ton of tech for lighting, so I thought, let me dive in and see what this is all about. So let me first start off by saying that this is a pre-production model, so it is not the final form of the MOVE LightGO, but as I find little kinks and faults in the armor, I'll be able to let Falcam know so that way, when the actual unit is released, it will be more than perfect. I chose to select the Bowens mount edition because pretty much every single modifier that I use is a Bowens mount modifier. And all that you have to do in setting this up, which I thought was going to be pretty difficult, but it's actually very easy, you're just going to make sure that you take your Bowens mount light. So in my case, I use the Neewer FS300C. And all I did was I mounted that light onto the back. It was a very nice snug fit. This was something that I was a little bit worried about because I didn't want this adapter piece, which goes in between your light and your modifier, to be tugging on my light unit. Once I put it on there, it was very much stable, and then you are able to put on your modifier in the front. I went with my reflector in this case, and all you do, there's this little silver pin. You go ahead and pull that pin. That's going to allow you to slide the Bowens mount adapter in, and then you will just lock that bad boy in place. This is going to let you know that your light and your modifier are now secured into the unit. So let's talk about the few different powering options that we have for this unit. The first and most basic option is just going to be plugging the USB-C straight into the power side of the Falcam MOVE LightGO and then powering up your light the normal way that you would. So you would hang your ballast, you would plug your light in, and then you would run another cord. So this way you have two cords going into a ground unit. But the better way to do it is when you are ordering this unit, what you want to make sure is that you pick the correct adapter. Now, as you will see, I did not pick the correct adapter for my Neewer FS300C, and this is because at the time when they reached out to me, I only had the CB300 and the Zhiyun B500, and they both are straight into the light plug-in, so this would not be an issue had I brought those lights. But what you're going to want to do, you are going to plug in the USB-C to your module just as you would normally, and you are going to take the ground unit and instead you are going to insert it into this little dongle that will then travel up onto your light, which in my case is going to be the ballast. I plug this bad boy into the ballast, and then energy goes straight through the dongle and powers both units. The reason why you want to make sure that you get the correct unit is so that you can eliminate the ballast. This is going to eliminate extra wires, extra cords, and allow the MOVE LightGO to flow very seamlessly when you have your light up there, because you do not want to be getting that thing entangled. The last thing that you need to do in order to get going, let's turn that light on, and then we are going to choose our remote option. There are three different ways that you can control our gimbal angles, and it is going to be either A, by the app, and that's not going to have the most distance. B, you can use the wired remote control that comes installed in, so all you have to do is put the wire into this and it will go directly into the unit. So there's a side with a USB-C for the charging and for the powering, and then there is a USB-C side specifically for this remote, and it has a very long cord, so you are going to get some distance when you use that bad boy. But my preferred method is going to be using the wireless remote that you can pair right with your unit. You can be about 30 meters away and still be able to get major adjustments. Because for me, the main thing that I see this being very useful for is when I need to put lights very high up or in a obscure position, right, in order to light a scene, and I want to still have control. The worst thing ever is when you throw a light super high up on a light pole and then you need to adjust the angle just a little bit. Have you ever done that? You throw a Fresnel on there, you throw a spotlight, specifically those lighting modifiers that are very specific, and you need to pull it all the way down just so you can tilt it a little forward, move it a little to the right, move it a little to the left. So that is why I prefer to use the wireless remote, and it does come with a battery, but of course, with all wireless things, you need to make sure that you keep some juice in there, which is perfectly fine. So these are the 3 different ways that you can control the gimbal once your camera is turned on, your light is mounted, you put your modifier on there, and you're ready to take some shots, and you're trying to kind of test out where you want that angle. Boom, throw that wireless remote on there, you are good to go. So who do I think this is good for? I definitely think this is good for someone who has multiple lights that they're controlling at the same time, or like I said before, someone who's using, lights that are higher up. Maybe you have a scrim over your subject, over your scene, and you have lights that are over and above that scrim. And you need to be able to finely tune those adjustments and those angles to make sure that you are getting your light correctly without having to step up on a ladder and go up there and adjust it and do all those types of things. Similarly to what we do when we use an app to control our power, color temperature, or our RGB on our lights, which we've been able to do for a very long time. You are able to use multiple units with the same wireless remote. I have 3 units and you're able to use all 3. I don't typically do any more lighting setups than 3, but you are able to use all 3 at the same time. I will also be testing this out with my strobe units, so I won't even need to use a powering module for my strobe units because they will already have power going right into them from the battery. And if I do need to, I have the same AC power cable for my battery AC units that I use for my Godox lights, so I'll be able to do this very seamlessly, very flawlessly. The next thing that I'm gonna test is some heavier modifiers, right? How can I maybe put an umbrella on there, right? Is that something that might be cumbersome to the overall payload of the Falcam MOVE LightGO, or is it something that will go on there seamlessly? So that is to be seen. This is my initial review and thoughts of this product. It is super, super convenient. I'm very big on convenience. I don't care to have a ton of gear. I'm not a very techie person, so to speak. Numbers and metrics and all of those things don't even really matter to me. I care about how is this thing used in the field? Is it gonna make my life easier when I am servicing my clients or when I'm making my personal projects? And for me, at this moment, this is a yes. I will be using it later on today for another shoot, so I will add that B-roll in as well so you can see this bad boy in action. But with this being such a different piece of tech, I really wanted to sit down, play with it, and try it out before I have a model on set or before I have a professional client where maybe if something goes wrong, it would eliminate my ability to get my shots. So these are my initial thoughts on the Falcam MOVE LightGO. I want to give a huge shout out to Falcam for sending this bad boy through. I will 100% be putting this through its paces, and once the real unit comes out, the fully fleshed out, no bugs, no glitches unit comes out, I will update this review and I will be using those bad boys as well. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you in the next video.